I guess this just underscores this sudden tightening of social distancing measures that we've seen in Hong Kong over the last week. I think it does underscore the vulnerability and the possibility that if the authorities continue to adhere strictly to a zero COVID policy, this current and any future waves of the virus are going to have very tangible economic spillovers.
The government has forked out billions in dollars of COVID relief. Do you think they still have space for more fiscal relief, given that they've now shut down businesses again?
Well, I guess this is very much an open debate at the moment. I noticed that the financial secretary briefly alluded to this possibility in his blog over the weekend. I think importantly, from our perspective, Hong Kong does indeed have quite substantial fiscal buffers. I think in our baseline fiscal reserves will end the fiscal year about 30% of GDP, which if you look at it in an international context is a huge credit strength for Hong Kong. Fiscal buffers have eroded quite substantially over the last 2 years, particularly during the height of the pandemic. So there are certainly fiscal reserves available to use if needed. But we do think the authorities are, after having taken a significant hit to the fiscal reserve in recent years, are going to be a bit more prudent in how they use them going forward.
What is your forecast for Hong Kong economy going into this year?
Well, for this year, I guess a lot has changed, as you alluded to earlier on in our conversation with these new social distancing measures. We did an outlook for the Greater China region at the end of last year, in which we forecasted that Hong Kong's economy would grow by 3% this year. One key assumption in that forecast was that the quarantine-free travel arrangement with the mainland and Macau would open as early as this month, and that by the middle of the year it would pretty much be a full-fledged reopening, at least around Mainland China, Hong Kong, and Macau. Now, obviously, those assumptions are now changing quite dramatically. We no longer expect the quarantine-free travel corridor to open for several months, perhaps not until the middle of this year. That does have a significant impact on our forecast and on Hong Kong's economy, because so much of the activity in recent years, certainly prior to the pandemic, was driven by tourism from mainland China coming and spending money in retail shops, staying here, business travelers, and all that's going to be delayed. So certainly there will be an economic impact this year.